Hi everyone and welcome to this new Twinmotion tutorial. In today's video we'll be talking about the Quixel Megascan folder that you can find inside the Twinmotion library. While the Twinmotion library contains thousands of items that has been created by some artists from the team, it also have that access to the Megascan folder, which contains thousands of assets that has been carefully photoscanned. Let's have a look at those in action. Most of the environment that you can see around my project, the rocks, the pebbles, even the tundra big mesh here with the lake, is from the Megascan library. There is a huge variety in terms of natural environment. We even use some texture from that road that we can see on the ground, some asphalt and some concrete on that project. So let's open the Megascan folder. It is divided in 4 different subcategories: 3D asset, 3D plants, surfaces and decal. Let's start maybe with some simple 3D assets. I will click on that one. Here it's divided again in different categories, so you can use those hierarchy here to just browse and search for what you are looking for. Here, let's say I want maybe to add some more rocks to my project. So I will come to the nature folder. Here I will come to the rock. And here it's divided in many different types of biomes, from beach to granite to sandstone. Probably for this project the boulder would work fine. The whole Megascan library is only available on the cloud and only available on demand. Again, we do that to not raise the installation size of Twinmotion. I already downloaded some of those assets, that's why the one at the top doesn't have that download icon that you can see on the one at the bottom. That means those assets, I already use them somewhere in a project, I can reuse them whenever I want. So here I just added that rock to my project. As you can see, it fits fairly well the surrounding of my scene. Now let's say I would like to download some of the assets that we have at the bottom over here. Here, when you mouse over, it tells you that you need to sign in to download those assets. If you are launching Twinmotion through the Epic Game Launcher, this is done automatically. Otherwise, you can click on that icon here to sign in. Once done, the download icon becomes available, so I can click on that to download this specific asset. Once downloaded, I can manually place that asset in my scene. The first time I'm doing that, there is a small processing time, converting the raw data in a Twinmotion asset, and after that I will be able to reuse that object on any future project without that processing time. When we created this project, we actually created a variant of it with a forest. So here I will just come to my scene graph, come to my environment folder and just unhide my forest layer. We created that moody forest with some particles and some fog from lights, but I don't really need them for this specific video, so I just come to my folder and hide my FX folder. So now let's come a bit closer to some of those Megascan assets. As you can see here, we have some really detailed rocks, we have some tree trunk. Here on the back we even have a small statue on top of those ancient stone stairs. Here, if we look closely at some of our trees, we even blended a tree trunk with a Twinmotion tree. So let's break this down. Here I'm going to select my tree. This is a basic Twinmotion tree that came from the library. What we did is that we downloaded a tree trunk from the Twinmotion Megascan folder. We placed that tree trunk on our project. Then we came with our tree from the Twinmotion library and we just put together the two, like that. This adds a bit more detail at the base of that tree, especially useful if you want to have some camera at the height of a human being. Let's now have a quick look at some vegetation. So I will come again in my Megascan folder, 3D plants. Here again it's divided in many subcategories. I could use the search bar here if I know precisely the biome I would like to use. For example, here I would like to use the tundra biome. Again, here I can mouse over some of the assets that I have already downloaded. The one I don't have downloaded doesn't have any big thumbnail that we can see over here that over the viewport. So let's, for example, now try that dwarf willow. I'm going to click on download. Here, with the vegetation asset that contain multiple mesh, if you drag and drop the asset as we saw with the branches, it adds all of them in a circle. What you can also do before drag and dropping that asset inside your project is click on it and click on Create Variation. That will actually convert all the raw data into the different mesh. So now, instead of adding to my project the whole collection of mesh, I can choose precisely the one I want. So for example, here I want to add the dwarf willow number 4, so I can just drag this one to my scene. And again, if I'm dragging this thumbnail to my project, it will add the whole collection. The Megascan vegetation works in a similar way as the Twinmotion vegetation. When you select a mesh, in the property panel you will find some option to customize it. So here you can change the scale, and here you can customize the tint. The Megascan library contains also hundreds of material that you can add to your project. So let's come back here. I will delete the tundra in my search bar. I will come back in the Megascan, enter the surfaces, and here again is divided in many different categories. Let's say I would like to see maybe a more architectural type of material for the interior. So here I can type, for example, marble. Here there are plenty of different marble I could add to my project. Maybe let's add this one. So I'm going to download that one, and I will simply drag in on my scene. Same thing as always, on the right of the screen we have all the settings related to that specific material. So here I can play a bit with the roughness of it. The last type of asset you can find inside the Megascan folder are decals. We already use some in our project, like you can see in the foreground over here. I've pressed G here to visualize all the visual helper of our project. I'm going to select this one. And here we can see we use the damage wall. That's one of the assets that came from that Megascan folder. But I can find way more. So for example here I can come to the moss patch. And here we have many different types of moss. Let's actually head back outside again. Here, for example, we use all those moss decals to just add some extra details to our project. For example, here, if I select this one and press the I button, you will see quickly the difference it brings to our project. We even use those decals on larger area, like we can see here. It works also directly on trees or other vegetation assets. And that's it for this quick video on the Megascan library. Thank you everyone for watching it, and we will see you all for the next one. Bye everyone!